Okay, so we're going to take our idea that we did by kind of sketching out a robot. And so I'm going to go ahead and kind of do that here. So I'm going to go ahead on this sketch. I got a new sketch up. I'm going to call this Robot Creator. Okay. My canvas, if I go ahead and start this, it's creating a canvas of 400 by 400. Right? Now, using the shapes that I can do from a reference, from the reference, I want to see what I could create. So if I go down to shapes, I'm probably going to use the ellipse or the circle, and then rect. That's for rectangles. Let's go ahead and look at that. So I can draw a rectangle at location 30, comma 20 with a width and a height of 55. So there we go. It's at X, there's my X and Y, and there's my height and width. Okay? It gives a bunch of different examples of how I could try to do like rounded corners. But the rectangle is a four-sided closed shape, and every angle is 90 degrees. Okay? We know that. On syntax, there are a couple of requirements that it has to be, but then we can also have additional optional parameters. That's what's in the square brackets. So I could see that it has the width of the rectangle. So if I just gave it 1, it's going to treat it like it's a square. But if I give a height, then I can actually have it where it's a different height, different width. I could give it a specific radius for any one of the corners. And here's additional stuff that we're probably not going to be using. Okay, so that being said, we kind of have an idea of what we want to do. Let's go ahead and try to draw. Now setup, like what I said before, it always runs only once. Draw is going to run continually, and that's where we want to do a lot of our work. So here, let's go ahead and add a rect. And I want it, let's say, starting at 200 and maybe 100 down. And I want it to have a height, a width of 200. And I want it to have a height of, let's say, 200. Okay. So that's a little bit too far over. Let's go ahead and move that to 100. Okay, now that's pretty square. Let's go ahead and decrease the height down. So 150. There we go. There's the head. Now I want to do the little part on the top like what I had. So if I want it in the middle, so it's starting at 100 and it's 200 long, then 200 divided by 2 is going to be 100. So if I start this at 200, that should be in the middle. And I want this to start at the top of that rectangle. So if this is starting at 100 down, I need to be above that. So let's leave that part blank, and then we're going to say, let's just say it's like 50 and 50. Okay, so if it's got a height of 50, then that means that I should probably start it at 50 above so that it will end there. Now it's not exactly in the middle because this is 100 and then half of 100 is, so that starts at, let's do some math. 100 in is where we are starting at for this point, and we want half of this plus what this is. So this is 200, right? And that's 100. So I am starting there, but I'm starting at the exact halfway, and I need to actually do this centered. So I'm going to take half of this distance and move it that far over. So if this is 50, then I'm going to do 175. Okay, there we go. Now let's go ahead and do another rectangle for his mouth. And we want it inside of the main rectangle. So let's say it's, I don't know, 125. And we want it to start at, let's say, 120. And we want it to be, let's say 150 long and maybe only 25 high. See where we're at. Okay, so that's not too bad, but that's too high. I need to bring that down. So it can't start at 120. I need to plus that up. So let's do maybe 180. Okay, that looks a little bit better. And now I need to do his eyes. So let's do an ellipse. And let's check the reference real quick to see what that looks like. I'll go to shapes. I'm going to do an ellipse. Okay. So an ellipse, you can be a circle if you have the same, but this is 56, 46. What is that? That's the X and Y. Okay, which is the center of the ellipse. Okay, it's telling me what it is. So the center of the ellipse, I want to be, so I want my ellipse to be kind of halfway over on the left-hand side. So if it's 200 long plus 100, so let's do, so that would be 100. Let's do like 150 for that center. And then since we're coming down, that's starting at 100 and it's 150. I mean, I'm kind of just guesstimating right now. Let's do 150, and I'm going to do 50. Okay, so that's not really too bad. I need another one, but we want it farther over. So let's do 300 here. Ugh, crazy. Let's do 250. There we go. So there's my robot. Okay. So this is just kind of giving you guys an idea. Obviously, you guys cannot do the exact same thing that I did to draw. I would like your guys' pictures to be fairly unique. When you guys look at the assignment, there will be a specific number of shapes that you guys have to use. Go ahead and check that out and design your picture using a minimum of those specific amount of shapes. Okay? Good luck. Have fun.